Peter, how are you?
Okay, thank you.
All right, Paddy.
You're alright, cold outside, isn't it?
It's quite cold.
It's getting there.
Are you the chairman, yeah?
I'm always chair, mate.
Always chair. Well, I know the public aren't really supposed to ask questions like, but would it be possible if I asked a couple?
You asked how many?
Just a couple. Only about the minutes and that, like, about the, you know, like the communications and that, about the relevant things. Would that be alright? I'll put my hand up and that, like, and...
That's up to me.
Alright, thank you.
Oh, just put your hand up.
I'll just put my hand up, yeah. Not an issue.
What?
I just don't want you thinking I'm being disruptive.
No, you won't be disrupted. You asked a relevant question. At the end of the day, it's a public meeting, and we're here to represent you. You still may look at it.
I mean, you might ask the questions, which will be fair enough, then I won't have to, will I? You know, let's hope so. There's the curtains there, putting my chair in there. That's the way our place as well. Chair for me, you know. Councillor Judith Ellison, always hard at work. Paddy for Greens, Chairman. Danny, not too sure. I should know this guy, that's Peter Brickley. He's the deputy leader.
Did you know that Amy Cowbird?
Not too sure who this guy is.
Milton, yes. Yes, she's a few of the Sturgeons of Paul's. I think she had dementia. She's something.
I am. That's allowed. That's allowed, isn't it? I am allowed to film, aren't I? Yeah. Thought so. Judith said I was in.
It's just I need to tell them.
It's not a big airport.
I know.
So they can, like, brush their hair.
Yeah. Judith mentioned that you weren't allowed to object. I just thought, why would you want to object? You obviously wouldn't want to object, Paddy, because you like a nice, open, transparent meeting and that, don't you? But obviously.
Planning committee, if speakers are booked to speak, like presentation or whatever, we have to ask them if they're all right with
Yeah. That's fine, and obviously they can say no.
Yeah, you have a general right.
They can say no and then not speak, can't they? I mean, like, it's not that I wouldn't have to go out, would I? They'd have to just not speak there, wouldn't they?
You're a busy man. Busy man.
No, I'm all right, thank you.
Questions for you to go through them. Yourself. Do you want me to go through? Is it? You want to report to come? So like an introduction to questions or no responses? But if you want to go through questions for like us,
So, am I just
this first statement, responses to the question.
Oh, okay.
Well, hopefully, this will be the start of things to come. I mean, There's no reason why the public shouldn't ask questions if our councillors aren't willing to. I have questions. I'd like them answering. You know, things that directly go against.
Shall I open the door for you?
No, it's alright, don't worry, it's
Nice to see you anyway, and Nancy.
Yeah, you too.
Okay, it's off. Obviously she just showed her face and now she's off now. It's not like the baby's crying, so what crack is there? Flip this camera off. I'm going to put it.
You've got about 4 minutes. Yeah, you want to rather brew or glass of water.
I'll put it all there.
If you want to have a cigarette, you don't smoke anymore. You still off it?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to get a few more ashtrays around if you're going to start smoking outside. You know what I mean? I wasn't in the cabinet meeting when the leader, you know, for the interest of clarity, said something about smoking. Did she get fined for smoking? I think she did. Yeah, £75.
Fine for smoking,
She admitted it, didn't she? Yeah. Unfortunately, though, she also like added on the end that she was like basically like intimidated into going right quick. Well, that were a lie. So, in the interests of clarity, like she should really like retract that from the paper, because like on the camera, the video that I posted didn't show that. Actually, it showed her putting her hand in my face. To be fair, so you know, obviously only in the interest of transparency, because I wasn't there at that meeting, but I don't think she mentioned that particular side of her story, which is all it was, a made-up story. Not good. You know, it goes against your code of practice. You know, she's the leader of the council.
You need to speak to the individual.
Well, I don't really. You know, I didn't stand up with the, you know, for transparency. I read it in the minutes. So obviously, I just wanted to bring that to people's attention. I'm sure Peter was there. He's a member of the cabinet.
I was there.
We're not. Oh no, you weren't. You gave your apologies.
Shall we start? A couple minutes early, if everybody's happy. We're all here. Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon and welcome to Resources Overview and Scrutiny Committee. Item number 1, apologies for absences and substitutions. Ben will give the apologies.
Thanks, Chair. There's apologies from Councillors Josh Allen and Scott Breton, and Councillors Judith Addison, Bernard Dawson substituting. Also not a member of the committee, but Martin Dyson is the Director for Finance, sent apologies also.
Okay, thank you very much. Item number 2, declarations of interest and dispensations. Do any members of the committee have anything to declare? That's great, thank you very much. We'll move on to the next item. So item 3 is the minutes of the last meeting. To submit the minutes of the Resources Overview and Scrutiny Committee held on the 5th of September 23 for approval as a correct record. Does anyone have any questions on the last minute? No? Okay, that's absolutely great. So I approve it as a correct record, so I'll move the minutes. Can I have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Oh, thank you very much. And all those in favour that were at the meeting? Perfect, thank you very much. That's carried. So we'll go on to item number 4, which is the Customer Contact Centre. This report is to provide a review of the Customer Contact Centre. I'd like to welcome Councillor Peter Brickler, portfolio holder, and Lee Middlehurst, Head of Benefits, Revenues and Customs Contact, to present this item. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for attending the meeting. So,
Well, I'm going to present a report which the committee have requested about an update in relation to the Council's Customer Contact Centre and the assistance that we offer to residents notifying the Council of a bereavement. It's recommended that the committee note the contents of the report and comment accordingly. Based at the Council's Broadway offices in Accrington, the Customer Contact Centre deal with a variety of different queries via telephone and email on a daily basis. In addition to administering the main council switchboard and directing customers to the relevant departments, they also assist and offer in-depth professional advice and information on the following council services. 1. Revenues, council tax and non-domestic rates. 2. Housing benefit. 3. Council tax support. 4. Waste and recycling services. 5. Parks and open spaces. 6. Green waste. 7. Pest control. 8. Elections. 9. Land charges and 10. Payments. This report provides an overview of the telephony, email, online and face-to-face provision offered to residents by the Customer Contact Centre. In addition, the report makes reference to how the Customer Contact Centre is looking to enhance its service provision further by looking at the feasibility and options for web chat functionality. Please can I thank committee members for taking time to read the report. A number of advanced questions have been submitted, to which Lee Middlehouse will respond to shortly. In addition, I'm happy for any further supplementary questions to be raised, which I or the representatives from the Benefits, Revenues and Customer Contact will answer accordingly. I'm going to hand over now to Lee for to tell you the advanced questions we've received.
Yes, we found out 3 advanced questions please from the committee. So question 1, which relates to paragraph 3.4 of the report.
Sorry, can I read out the question, please? Is that
Yes,
okay?
certainly.
Yeah, so just so that everybody's aware of it. So the question 1 was from Councillor Plummer. Reference paragraph 3.4. How do inquiries via Facebook Messenger work?
Okay, thank you for the question. So all messages which are sent to us via Facebook Messenger receive an automatic reply which outlines, thank you for your message. Please note that this inbox is monitored on a daily basis. For any council inquiries, please email inquiries@Highbury. They include your full name, address, telephone number, and any reference numbers, especially if your query relates to council tax or benefits. So we check the Facebook message on a daily basis, but sometimes it's not always possible to answer questions that way to the other side. People receive the automatic reply. So each message is received checked on an individual basis. And as a general rule, any inquiry which receives a specific reply, such as something like a council tax or council benefits, we refer them to the inquiries inbox so we can go through more thorough verification to ensure they're giving out secure personal information. Often the queries that we use via Facebook Messenger are sometimes of a generic nature, so as we come into that time of the year, people will be asking, is my Christmas tree going to be collected, or are we doing Twitch boxes again? So that's how we use the Facebook Messenger service for inquiry that we receive that way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Committee members follow on for that question?
Yes, fine, quite happy.
I'm happy to take 2 questions from you, Mr. Knight, as I said, so if you want to ask a question, please do.
Alrighty, so I'll wait for the next one. It's all right. Yeah, there's a few. So
Okay, we'll move on to the second question. So this is from Councillor Clegg, paragraph 3.5. Can you provide more detail on face-to-face appointments in the community? In particular, how are these advertised?
Okay, thank you. So we haven't taken face-to-face appointments at the Broadway offices since the start of the pandemic in March 2020. And as outlined in the report, prior to 2020, the number of face-to-face appointments we had during 1920 was as low as 4. So we find the vast majority of inquiries can be dealt with by telephone or email, which is approached similar to other government departments and the Department of Work and Pensions. However, we do offer appointments on request and are always available. The information we have on our posters outside our Broadway offices ask customers to contact us directly if they want to see someone on a face-to-face service. Because we find there's a lot of organisations within the Borough, for example, First Call, who are based in the Orndale Shopping Centre, who we work quite closely with in terms of referring clients across each other. In terms of outreach work, we've recently taken work supplies for a wider community sports event with the Family Hub in Accrington at the Children's Centre on Norfolk Grove. We're advertising events more widely kind of across the community.
Thank you very much. Anybody got any other question, committee members?
Can I ask, are people aware that they can sue face-to-face inquiries. I found it, I know, saying about the pandemic and the numbers, you know, I don't know how many people would prefer face-to-face inquiries. Maybe they're not aware that they can still use that service.
Well, there is, I mean, over a number of years, face-to-face provision has been reduced. I think from when I first came to authority, it was kind of like anybody could come and use a ticket base, and then we moved to appointments only in the customer contact centre a number of years ago, and then we moved that down to the self-service, and members of staff, and now it's just on request. So it's, the information is there on the council's website in terms of how you can contact us, and when people ring through to us and request one specifically, it's always something that we will offer. And there's some information on our on the broad range of stores does make reference to face-to-face provision is available if there's
As long as people know.
information is there.
That's fine.
Alrighty, so I have come in on several occasions to request a face-to-face meeting. Unfortunately, the only person I'm allowed to speak to is Jane Ellis. Now, obviously that's fine, but for whatever reason, she just leaves me stood in the office and doesn't bother coming down. She doesn't actually make an appointment, which I can come back at any time. I don't work. I can come back at any time at all. You mentioned in the report that there was 19 phone calls for the elections. I know myself, I made more than 19 phone calls, so unless nobody else rang up besides me, or have them figures been fudged so that my phone calls aren't included. Also, the report says that it takes roughly 38 seconds for the council to answer the telephone. Now, in the summons that the council has sent me, there's plenty of 1 second phone calls. You've used that evidence to get a CPO against me, so like 1 second phone calls when it actually takes 38
Right,
seconds.
Is this about you personally?
No. It's
You need to ask general.
so,
Yeah, I know
so
where
that's
you're
so that's the
going.
question. So like basically if it takes 38 seconds to answer a phone call, how can you say 1 second is, when you've got to court obviously, that's actually somebody ringing you up, when actually it isn't, and they're not included in your numbers? Can you answer me why?
Can we let him answer the question? That's three, by the way.
Well,
My report refers to the face-to-face position at the Broadway offices, so I can't comment in terms of the face-to-face position at Scarecrow House, for the inquiries that you may have made with Mrs Ellis. In terms of our call response times, they're recorded through our IT system, which records the call waiting time and the response times. And so they are based on the average. Again, I couldn't comment on the individual instances when people ring up.
So we're going to question item number 3. This is from Councillor Allison. How do staff deal with non-standard inquiries, or even inquiries which are not the responsibility of the council?
Okay, so thank you for your question, Councillor Anderson. So because the contact centre are used to dealing with inquiries which are non-standard and may relate to services which the council do not provide directly, the contact centre are adept at signposting to the relevant bodies or other departments. If our team do not know the answer to something, then we quite often take customer details will be taken and ring them or email back the details of who they will need to contact. In addition, information of the Highburn Hub, which is on the council's website, is an invaluable tool which is used to signpost people to a range of different local and national agencies for help and support.
Any committee members have any further?
Thank you, Middleworth. Yeah, I can appreciate that if it's an inquiry that should go to like the county council or Onward Homes, but I'm thinking as well, perhaps if they're new employees at the contact centre and a customer rings up with a query and they don't perhaps express it in the words that are on the contact centre officer's script. I know somebody who rang up she's a counsellor actually, to report about some animals or poultry that were being mistreated, and she'd been told by the RSPCA to ring the council and ask for animal welfare. And when she rang, she was told the council didn't deal with that. So I did a bit of delving and found it came under environmental protection. Now, I wouldn't have known to ask for environmental protection, so I'm wondering if perhaps new contact centre employees have sufficient kind of background information, shall we say, on this script to be able to kind of pick up a bit what people are really asking sometimes.
Okay. I think in response to that, the team don't work to a script as some contact centres do. I think for an instance like that, I would imagine it would be covered within the initial induction or training. But taking that example kind of further forward, I will sort of feed that back in terms of that type of instance or wider scenario. is reviewed as part of the training that we do give to the team as part of the induction.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to ask, this is the last question, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Middlehurst. It says in the report though that you're allowed to, you encourage customers to send emails into your 24 hours a day. I'm just wondering if that policy that's been like actually sent down to all the staff, because certain things might mention emails coming in at different times. Shouldn't make a difference because they're not all coming into you at 9 o'clock in the morning anyway. Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Mr. Mason. An email is received at the time that it's issued. It may not receive response until within working hours, but given the email function, somebody can email a question in at 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yeah, but would that be penalised against? Is my question, because you know, or is that encouraged?
It's neither penalised or because emails are offered in terms of ratios because it's often a quite convenient time for any resident to contact the council.
Yeah.
Rather than being restricted to office hours,
Yeah.
and the response will then be dealt with the next available working day.
So if it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, that's fine, isn't it? Because it could be.
Well, people can actually please themselves when they choose to email. What we're saying to you is that the automated response might come 5 hours later.
I appreciate that. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine.
I think Mr. Knight, I think it's been answered, but thank you very much for your question. So, are there any other questions from the committee? No? Thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming and answering my question. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Councillor Brickcliffe and Councillor Andy for reporting on this item.
Check a bit soon, thank you, Chair.
Yeah, please do. I know you're a busy man. Answering all those emails. Okay, if we go on to now on to item 5, which is the revenue budget of 2023-2024, monitoring quarter 2 to the end of September 2023. I'd like to welcome Councillor Brickcliffe once again to present this report.
Thank you. Right, this report informs scrutiny of the financial spending of the council up to the end of September 2023 for the financial year 23-24. So it's bang up to date, just 17 days since the end of September. Our draft forecast at the end of quarter 2 indicates that we will be in a position to manage the overall budget of the council effectively during the year, and that we envisage that we will be able to return a surplus of 998,000 for the year 23-24, which is fantastic news for Hyndburn residents. The forecast outturn includes a provision for the additional costs the council may face and the annual pay award to staff, which is likely to be larger than the 5% predicted when we set the budget back in February 2023. Other inflationary increases have continued to place budget holders under pressure during the year, and these are reflected in the variance explanations and detailed within the table 5.2 on page 6 of the report. This summary shows that in relation to service costs, there are several significant variances that show a forecast underspend in the year of some £34,000. The main reason for the forecast underspend is due to the additional £793,000 of investment income being generated in the year. The additional income has been generated as a result of the rise in interest rates by over 3% during the last year, and you know, in my view, this is the silver lining in the cloud, because whilst people with mortgages that have been hit, people like councils, institutions like councils have been able to invest and bring in lots of money. The additional income has been generated as a result of the rise in interest rates by over 3% during the last year, the significant balances the council has held due to slippage in the capital programme, LUF grant received in advance of spend, and also more effective methods of investing. It is expected that all interest rates may not reduce too much over the next 12 months. Commitments and planned spend in the capital programme will significantly reduce the balances available to invest, and therefore it is envisaged that this will be a one-off windfall in this year. But I do think that we need to congratulate Martin Dyson and his staff on the way they have so invested the council's finances. This report also highlights that whilst the latest forecast underspend puts the council in a good position against its original plans, there are some unknown areas of potential pressure that will need to be addressed over the coming months. These potential pressures may or may not affect the current year. However, they will need addressing in the medium-term forecasts that will be updated as part of the budget process. Close monitoring and management of budgets will continue throughout the financial year to mitigate budget pressures and inform members of any required actions needed in the budget setting process for 24-25. I'm delighted to present this report to Scrutiny as it shows a very good, sound financial position in the current year and highlights the awareness of the potential risks and pressures on the longer term budget forecasts. And so I move the report.
Thank you, Councillor Bridges. I have a few questions already prepared for you. So question number one comes from Councillor Plummer. Paragraph 5.10. Is Blackburn crematorium closed permanently? How long is the increased demand likely to continue for?
Right, well the crematorium at Blackburn was closed due to fire damage in June and July 2023. During this time, the majority of funeral directors chose to use Accrington Crematorium as Pleasanton was unavailable for bookings. This resulted in Accrington Crematorium getting double the usual numbers of cremations for June and July. In August, the crematorium in Blackburn partially reopened while some building work was still ongoing, and the crematorium is now operating normally in Blackburn. As such, the additional cremations required at Accrington Crematorium have decreased through August and September and are back to numbers which are normal for this time of year.
Thank you very much. If we go to item number 2, and this comes from Councillor Scott Burton, paragraph 5.3, recruitment, retention and the growing cost of using agency staff. Has there been any work done on identifying why these are growing issues for the council, and have any steps been taken to resolve them?
Well, we have worked with service managers to explore potential ways to address recruitment and retention difficulties, and there are ongoing discussions with management team. There are some occupational areas where there is a shortage of staff right across the local government sector, meaning we are often competing for the same people. The private sector can often offer pay at a level we can't compete with, especially after a decade of zero or below inflation pay rises. The key areas for Edinburgh Council have been planning, environmental health and estate surveyors, alongside finance and legal. We always try and continue to try to recruit directly rather than through agencies, unless there is a very specific short-term or specialist need. Unfortunately, this has not always proved successful. We are looking at how we can sell ourselves better as an employer and provide an attractive working environment and culture. We consider anything we can do around pay, but this has to be in line with our job evaluation, equal pay principles.
Anybody got an ongoing issue. We've been talking about this for I think a couple of years now, where every council is finding it difficult to obviously recruit staff. We're not alone on it. It seems to be a very local government issue. We've just got to keep trying. Okay, question number 3, again from Councillor Scott Brereton, paragraph 6.1. Due to the unsuccessful bid to Sport England for the revenue element of the swimming pool support fund, does the council foresee itself providing further subsidies or support to Hindburn Leisure, and does this itself present a risk? Recently, Warrington Council, following a compliance review process with the Competition and Markets Authority, the CMA, it was determined that the council could not subsidise its leisure trust, as this could put it at risk of legal action as a breach of the Subsidy Control Act 2022.
I think I can safely reassure the Scrutiny Committee that this controlling group will do everything it can to support leisure facilities in Hindburn at this time. I think we have to acknowledge that they have difficulties, because there are difficulties surrounding the, anywhere where there's a swimming pool is having difficulties because of the extreme energy costs that there are. But as I say, we will do anything we can in our power to ensure that we protect our leisure facilities in this borough.
Thank you. Anybody got any? Yeah.
Can I ask about just simple points anyway, but on the same? And I mean, Scott's mentioned about the leisure trust and so on, and you mentioned about the underspend piece, and you mentioned also in the report about the pressures on, on council finances. It's not just the swimming pool, it's the waste disposal site, which they, that could come into some, trust us money this year, couldn't it? If we don't get we're on negotiations right with county. Civic theatre, obviously civic theatre, I mean, now what's happening with that now? And it's, again, there's a cost element to that, you would have thought, so it's trying to remain the same.
I think we acknowledge.
I'm not being pessimistic, Peter, but you mentioned the underspend, but then you said where the pressures are as well. And there are pressures, aren't there, that cost us money?
I think this is a very realistic report. We are acknowledging that there are pressures, as you say, in terms of Widdy Hill, that the county are going to close it, and the civic theatre in Oswald Twistle, which was actually badly managed. We need to put these things right, and we need to make sure that cultural events continue for the benefits of residents, and that we come to adequate negotiations with Lancashire County Council. But all things which, if you think about it, if we've almost £1 million underspend, we are in a position where we're not going to be buffeted by these waves.
Thank you very much.
Just to say that the things like Aussie Civic Theatre cost us money, couldn't it? And incidents, I mean,
It could well do.
The county, hopefully we'll get the negotiation right, and it's not something that's for cost us money.
Well, it could well do, because when we actually went round on the tour of the Civic Theatre, when we got the keys back, things have been very neglected. So, for instance, the certificates weren't up to date, the electricity hadn't been tested for something like 10 years. In fact, we were astounded at how badly managed it had been.
I wouldn't go down that road, but my
Well, it is a road burden.
Maintaining the building.
It is a road burden that unfortunately we are having to face and pick up the bills.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody got any questions? Have a question? Please, very much. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. So the questions from Councillor Clegg, it's actually to do with what you spoke about in paragraph 6.1. What is the council doing now to plan for the major risk associated with the waste disposal at Winnie Hill being closed?
Well, the council has been in discussion with and working with Lancashire County Council as disposal authority for the last 12 months relating to their decision to end the landfill contract for domestic residual waste, grey bin waste, being taken to Winnie Hill Tip. The contract was due to expire 31st of March 2025. However, Highbury Council, along with other authorities affected, have lobbied LCC to extend the contract to allow time for an alternate solution to be put in place. A report is scheduled to go to LCC Cabinet in November or December to get authority to extend the contract at Winnie Hill until the 31st of March 2026. In addition, officers in environmental services have been working with LCC Waste Services staff to identify land for a potential waste transfer station in the borough, and officers have been exploring other options to deal with the council's residual waste once LCC contract with Winnie Hill Tip ends. Officers have also met with the representatives of the Environment Agency to discuss any potential regulatory issues which may arise and how these will be dealt with. A number of options are currently being investigated and assessed. When a preferred option has been identified, a report will be brought to a future Cabinet for a decision to be made.
Thank you very much. Councillor Clayton.
Just following on from that, I mean, this deadline of 2025 has been known out for ages. So we just seem to be kicking the can down the road a little bit by asking for an extension. You know, to me, we should be acting on it, not asking for an extension.
Well,
We've known about this date for a long time,
Yeah.
and the county council just seem to like kicking the can down the road by saying, "Oh, we'll get an extension." To me, we should be doing something, not just saying, "Well, you know, action should be taken sooner rather than later." Then we don't end up in the same situation like we have in the POPs, whereby all of a sudden the POPs regulations are coming and we're absolute chaos now, and services are running weeks and weeks and weeks behind. You know, we can't get stuff collected, we can't get new bins delivered, we can't get this, we can't do that. So I'm just wary that we're going to get to 2025/26 and we're going to find ourselves in a similar situation whereby bin wagon is going to have to take an hour round trip now to one tip off, and then collections, it would just going to end up with chaos. You know, we know about this. All right, great, we're asking for an extension, but to me, we should be acting a lot quicker than what we seem to be doing.
Yeah, well, I think I've explained to you what we've been doing, that we've been looking to identify land for a waste transfer station of our own, and I don't think we can do more than that, but can I just say to you that there are a number of authorities who've asked for an extension to that contract, so we're not alone.
I appreciate that, but obviously it's kind of out of our jurisdiction since it is a county facility as well, so I appreciate we're only liaise with them as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think the pressure needs to be put on that it does need sorting sooner rather than later.
No, but I appreciate the comments. Thank you very much, Councillor Brickett. If I may, one sec, is that so if we don't get the extension and 2025 comes, are we going to be prepared?
We will get to the extension.
Yeah, Councillor Brickett, can I just ask, going back a while ago, I thought that by 2025 that tip could not take any more capacity. Are we now sure that it can take the capacity for another 12 months?
It's my understanding that it could take, it has the capacity to actually take for a lot longer than a further 12 months. That is the understanding I've been given of it.
Thank you.
I mean, it's a decision made not by us, by LCC.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the decision. We've got to live with it, we've got to sort that out, we've got to be prepared for it.
When will we notice on that, on the list, on the other sides, you know? It's difficult to say.
What? I don't understand the question.
No, I mean, they're in negotiating the Lancashire County Council, obviously, and the outcome could be that it will cost us money, isn't it? If we don't get what we want off the council.
I think that we're virtually assured that there will be a contract extension till 2026, but in the meantime, as I said, we are looking at the possibility of having our own waste transfer station,
Which will cost money, obviously. Yeah.
which will cost money.
Yeah.
but you know, we had a disposal works in the 70s in Oigal Street, and a refuse disposal works, and I think it's you know, the waste transfer station is going to be very similar.
Anybody got any other questions?
Could I just ask Councillor Bickerton, has a site been potentially earmarked for this site, you know, within the borough?
Obviously, obviously, I don't want to reveal, but yes,
No, it's confidential.
we are actively looking at sites.
Right,
But
okay.
we don't want to put the cost up, do we, Pat?
No,
Yeah,
no,
sites.
no, just wondering,
Anybody got any questions? Any further questions? No? Thank you very much, Councillor Bridcliffe, for all your help in answering all the questions. Much appreciated. Would you like to leave or would you like to stay?
Well, I think there's a capital programme yet.
All right, yeah, you've got another one. Sorry. You've got another one. Item number 6, the capital programme monitoring 2023 to 2024, quarter 2 to the end of September 2023. Again, I will ask Councillor Bridcliffe to once again present this report.
Right, well, the report updates Scrutiny, colleagues, on the progress of the Council's capital programme that was approved at the Council's budget meeting on the 23rd of February 2023. The Budget Council meeting in February authorised new additions to the capital programme of 8.374 million, and this has now been supplemented by area items carried forward or slipped is the word we use, of 37.615 million, and new authorisations in year of 1.440 million, to give a new total of 47.429 million. This report now includes information on how the latest capital programme is to be financed, based on approved financing agreed as part of the 2022-23 and 23-24 budget settings by Council. The table shows that the overall programme is funded largely from external grants and contributions, Council reserves and balances, with a remaining 5 million, 10.5%, that could be taken from external borrowing. The report also highlights that this external borrowing will only be used as a last resort, and every effort to reduce or remove this will be undertaken through exploring alternative external financing and further good financial management over the next few years. In this quarter 2 update, service managers and project leads are reporting that they have spent 2.771 million of the 14.418 million authorised this year, with 33 million to be slipped into 24-25. The capital spending programme is key to Hyndburn Borough Council in not only maintaining and developing its operational assets, and therefore it is necessary for the Council to highlight and address any risks that may be associated with the programme. As shown in the report, that to date there are no high-level risks associated with the capital programme, and these will be continued to be monitored and reported to Cabinet on a regular basis. The significant value of the capital programme, currently 47.429 million, shows that Council's commitment for regeneration and growth within the borough to make Hyndburn a better place for its residents to live, work and enjoy. And I move the report.
Thank you very much. As again, I have some prepared questions for you. So question number 1 comes from Councillor Clegg. There is a 5 million in borrowing and 5 million from reserves allocated to the Leisure Centre project. Can the council afford to do this, considering the financial issues facing many councils across the country? What are the revenue budget implications of the borrowing?
Well, there are no concerns over the Council's short or longer term financial sustainability due to its level of earmarked and capital reserves, and the use of these are both planned and budgeted within the current medium term financial strategy. The council gave approval to borrow 5 million for this scheme, although borrowing will only be undertaken as a last resort if there are not sufficient earmarked in capital reserves available. The full implications of any borrowing are unknown until the point in time that borrowing is undertaken due to interest rate fluctuation and the rates on offer from the PWLB, the Public Works Loan Board. The council has sufficient budget allocation available to cover borrowing in its medium-term financial strategy and approved budget should the need arise.
Thank you very much. Any following questions?
I want to ask you a question, but it's not necessarily what Andy just.
Okay, later on, is it one of the other items?
Right?
Is it one of the other items?
Yeah, it's on the capital programme, obviously. But
Ask the question.
yeah, I just there's another follow-up from Andy's, but on capital, it mentions capital receipts piece of the capital programme being able to finance it. Obviously, you know, we need to realise these capital receipts of what is it, about 4.406 million. Some have already been realised capital receipts, but there's still a lot to 2.5 million, is it? Something like that. That's still, is it? Am I reading it wrong? But anyway, but it's the capital problem depending on them being able to realise those capital receipts. Now, what's the chances of being able to do that? You know, some have already been done. And we're talking about sale of land and buildings, aren't we? Which I thought was some more stuff anyway. But what's the possibility? Is there a risk with it, or are we going to get those capital receipts?
Well, I actually have not been briefed about that, so I will ask Martin Dyson to reply directly to you.
It seems a lot, Peter, doesn't it? I mean, maybe we will be able to realise it, but you know.
I mean, the message that I'm getting is that everything's on a very sound footing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Martin will get back to you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, so the second question I have is for Councillor Brereton. Leisure Estate Investment Programme. The extent of this programme is dependent on the council being successful in obtaining external funding of around 6.9 million. To date, there's been no confirmation on the outcome of these bids, and the level spent on leisure transformation will be contained within council resources should these bids be unsuccessful. What is the situation if some or none of these bids are successful? Will the council be directly funding it, or will the leisure transformation be scaled back? If it's the latter, what parts of the leisure transformation project has been deemed as essential, and which have been deemed less important and could be at risk of being shelved?
Right, the capital programme items for leisure transformation included the following items. 2 million external funding bid for Sport England for the Wilson playing field site. The council has been successful in obtaining a grant offer that is subject to the final cabinet decision to proceed with the works on this site. The report will go to cabinet tomorrow, and due to the increased inflationary and planning conditions, the costs of the scheme have increased. The council has been successful in working with Sport England to achieve a further 0.4 million in funding should cabinet support the recommendation in the report. The capital programme additions in 23-24 approved by full council in February 23 included schemes that will be only funded by external grant of 4.9 million. These works were to be undertaken at a time and leisure centre as part of the continuing transformation programme that would increase efficiency and carbon emissions at the site. If this funding is not achieved, the capital programme will be scaled back to reflect the forecast expenditure. The council is always looking at opportunities to raise external funding, and has today submitted another bid for capital works against the Swimming Pool Support Fund Round 2 for Sport England for approximately £860,000. These works will be undertaken along with other planned and budgeted capital works at the site.
Thank you very much. Anybody got any questions from the public? Okay. We'll go on to the next question, question 3 then. This is from Councillor Clegg. There's been several investment projects at Oakhill Park. How can the council justify this when other parks are in need of expenditure?
Well, so recently in Oakhill Park, the tennis courts have been refurbished. This was made possible because the council secured £50,000 grant funding from the Lawn Tennis Association, the governing body for tennis in the United Kingdom. As the council has a finite level of capital expenditure, it has become incumbent on the Park Service to identify external grant funding and in some cases act opportunistically to secure funding for parks improvement projects. While there has been investment in Oakhill Park, other parks have had more money spent on them. For example, Williams Park has had a £1.5 million refurbishment. Milshire Park, £350,000 approximately spent on a new bowls pavilion, pump track, playground, outdoor gym and gate. Memorial Park currently having a £400,000 refurbishment. Gatty Park had over £200,000 spent on refurbishment of play area, footpaths, benches, fence around the bowling green and balls hut. And is in line in our programme to have its war memorial refurbished next year. Peel Park has over £300,000 spent on refurbishing footpaths, the monument, play area refurbishment and Mugger tennis court refurbishment. Mercer Park has had over £300,000 spent on refurbishment, Mercer House, new skate facility, sensory garden and Mugger. In addition to this, many play areas and sports pitch sites have received funding to undertake facility improvements.
Thank you very much. Councillor Plummer.
Sorry, Councillor, going back to Peel Park, we out of our area council paid for those nets on the tennis court. We also got a grant for 37,000 to do the play area, nothing to do with the council. So where's the other 300,000? And are we talking about the one that's in Huncourt at the top of Avenue Parade?
I don't know. These answers have been prepared for me.
Yeah. It's just that we've laid a lot of money out. Paddy, myself and Councillor Harrison have provided a lot of money. Well, you know, we refurbished all that play area not that many years ago. We've done all the area near the allotments.
I think you perhaps need to have a word with Martin.
I think
So we'll go to
Yeah.
Mr Dyson. I think that's what we need to do. Just to clarify, as Councillor Plum said, you know, over the years we've done a lot of work on Coppice. So, yeah, thank you very much. The next question is item number 4. This comes from Councillor Addison. Is the council confident levelling up money can be spent by the deadline? Does the external funding for the new leisure centre development come with a deadline? And if so, is the council confident this can be met?
What I'm saying really is, will the money be clawed back if it isn't spent by the deadline?
Well, the levelling up project is expected to be delivered
Yes.
within the time frames agreed with the DHLUC
Yeah.
Department for Health and Levelling Up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does the external funding for the new leisure centre come with a deadline? The council has not formally received its grant conditions from Sport England, although there are no expectations there will be any problem in achieving any conditions or timelines, as Sport England have been engaged throughout the project. The decision on funding is still subject to a cabinet decision on the 18th, tomorrow.
Oh, thank you.
Has anybody got any questions? to the next item. This is from myself. So, what is the 50,000 fly tipping intervention for?
This is an external grant funding from the Rural Payments Agency that has been received to install fencing within the hotspot areas of the borough to stop fly tipping. The project also covers remote surveillance equipment to monitor and catch offenders. Due to the works and privacy arrangements, this scheme will require planning permission.
Okay, thank you very much. Have you got a question? Happy with that. Thank you very much. So item number 6 from Councillor Clegg. What is the council's current plan for the Civic Theatre and Arts Centre? If required, can capital funding be allocated but not yet spent on the other projects be diverted to this project? I know we've touched on it, I appreciate that, but if you could just go into a bit more detail.
Yeah, well, the council is currently undertaking survey works on Oswald Thistle Civic Theatre, and it's expected that these surveys will be completed in the next few months. Until we have the outcome of these survey works, no further decisions will be taken, and any proposals will be presented to Cabinet for consideration. The current capital programme is fully committed on other council priorities, and at present there are no available resources highlighted that could be diverted towards the Civic Theatre. It is envisaged that there is a need for capital works, and a submission will need to be made for the 24-25 capital programme for approval as part of the budget process. So, we are looking to bring, we don't want to rush it, because we've got to make sure that the theatre is in good condition. You know, that's essential for public safety and everyone who might work there. But we do want to get it right, and we do have the ambition to reopen the Civic Theatre as soon as it's practical.
What you were saying, sorry, what you were saying earlier, is that there obviously there's work needs done.
Yes.
It's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. To bring it up to the standard that we can either do something with it, whatever we're going to do with it. So there will be expenditure.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Councillor Kerr.
No, just obviously this with the Civic, it's not just about the Civic, it's about the impact on the surrounding economy as well.
Yeah.
So you know, it's not just about the Civic, it's about wider community around it as well, and obviously all the outreach programs and everything else that we're involved with. This is the thing, see. So I take it there's been some provisions to maybe rehold some of the groups that use it and stuff like that, or has it just been left up in the air? That
I think we had 3 days notice of it closing, and it wasn't possible to make those arrangements to rehouse.
I think groups have had to make their own arrangements, haven't they, Councillor Whitcliffe?
Yes.
I know some who've found alternative venues who used to meet there.
So I've some of the groups found alternative.
Well, for example, the Hammond Concert Band, they used to rehearse there on a Sunday morning. Now, they tried first of all hiring at the parish hall at Emmanuel, but the acoustics were not suitable. But now they've been offered a rehearsal venue at St Christopher's School, which is suitable for the purposes. But I think groups have been shopping round. I know that the parish hall at Emmanuel, I think, has received quite a lot of enquiries. You know, if there are any free slots for organisations to meet, at least on a temporary basis.
And I do know that the parish hall, there was a dance project, wasn't there?
Yes, I think that what's she called, that organises the St Mary's pantomime every year. She has lives on Cecil Street, Lord Street. She has a dance group, and I think they meet there regularly now at the parish hall. Yes.
I mean, obviously, people like St Mary's run they have an annual pantomime. Well, that pantomime can't take place this next year, unfortunately.
No. And they've closed their parish hall now, haven't they? The Salford Diocese on Lock Street Salford Diocese for selling it off. Yeah.
Take the town hall could take up any of the slack or anything like that.
Well, you know, I'm just wondering, should we not be encouraging them to make more use? In fact, one of the things that came up at our group last week was the fact that we feel that the leisure trusts need to make more use of the town hall.
So I've been banging the drum that for a long time.
Yeah.
It's been priced out of people's pockets quite honestly,
Well,
hasn't it, you know?
Keep banging it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. The Vice Chair has got a question.
No, I was just going to say, because it was such short notice that the Civic closed down, I got a lot of inquiries and we helped out quite a bit with dance studios to support the community anyway. And I know a lot of other private businesses have done the same.
Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Dawson.
It's just an observation that crucially it could become a liability to us from that building unless we can get something done with it.
Empty buildings are always a liability.
You know,
Empty buildings are a liability. They cost.
remains empty.
And apart from that, we have to pay rates on it because we're not a charitable institution.
Probably find it's falling down.
So the sooner we can get it up and running, the better. But on the other hand, we don't want to rush it for the interests of public safety.
Take it funding streams being investigated, like, you know, grants and
Yes.
and stuff like that.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you very much. Any leading questions on that item? No? No? Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Brickcliffe, for your information today and answering all the questions. Just really now, has anybody got any recommendations? Is there any recommendations that any members of the committee would like to bring forward to the cabinet? Okay, thank you very much for your attendance, and I now call the meeting to an end.
Why not? Well,
Yes, please, yeah.
I was quite impressed there. A few questions were asked. I do like the old question asked. I don't need to ask any questions. I asked the ones that I asked. Paddy let me ask my few, which I'm happy about. And, you know,
Are you going now, Peter?
I feel it was for information.
Yeah.
I'll upload this. Very informative. Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. All done.
Sorry, can everybody make sure if you bring it back Ben, he can recycle.
Let's have a bit of a chat after. Hey, very nice. Very happy. Rafita looks happy. He always looks happy. Why wouldn't you be happy? Deputy leader.
Well, yeah, we're leaving here because we've
I know it was a bit of a grilling, but you did well done. Thank you very much.
It's easy for us.
It's open up now.
We, because he's good with his partner and he's, he wants to manage schools and that, so he's only got a week off, so.
Yep, I'll speak to him. So your experience, I'll get a call back. We always give that a few quid. I appreciate that.
They were very nice. A good meeting. I'm even up with a brew. That's all the cabinets was nice. Might not be. Peter's in the cabinet, he's a bit of a noisy guy. Yeah, he goes away, Paddy. Thank you very much. Go away, sir, thank you. Bye. Thank you for a nice meeting. And all. Watch me walk out. Walk out through a shade. No business or anything. Can't be bad. Who's that? Nice little meeting. I do like a nice meeting. You know, why shouldn't they be friendly? You know, it's a friendly time. And there endeth